Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how I made these really cute faux leather earrings on my Cricut machine. So the first thing I do when I'm going to make some earrings is I just need to find a cut file. Now I do find a lot of these on Pinterest for free. I even found these on Pinterest. These are not free, but I did purchase this cut file from Etsy. I downloaded it, and then once you download it from Design Space, you can just upload it over here on the left and browse through the files wherever you have that cut file on your computer. But since I already downloaded it, I'm going to go to Images, and this is bringing up all of my uploaded images just because I filtered on that over here. That's how I like to look for my images. And then you just scroll down and find that image. So it's right here. It's not showing it stacked. Those are the three pieces. So once I select that, I just need to insert the images into my project. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I want to resize these. I don't know if you can tell, I'm going to move this up to be lined up with the top. I'm just trying to measure this. The largest part of the earring goes from 1 to 5, so it's like 4 inches tall. It's a little bigger than I wanted, so I'm just going to resize it by grabbing that corner piece, and notice that it's resizing my entire group. So now with that, now that has the height of the entire piece being 2.72. I might make it a little, I think I made it a little bit too small. There we go. I'm gonna leave it right there. So that sized all the pieces proportionally, which is really great. Now, to be able to start working with this file, I want to ungroup it because I want to mark the colors that my project will be. So I just need to come over here and click the ungroup button. I know my large pieces are going to be white, I think, for the sake of just being really clear, because if I do it white, I think, let's see, I don't think I can see it. Oh no, that's fine, I'll do it white. Okay, so white, and this one's gonna be white. And then my medium size one's gonna be my purple. Oops, what am I doing wrong here? The heck? And then for my small one, that's going to be kind of my gray. Probably just do that one for here. Okay, so I can look here and see how these are going to stack up. And if I want to do that and they're not doing what I want them to do, I can just right click on one and do a send to back. And then that way I can see how they're going to stack. This one, if I bring it down, oh, it looks like it's gonna land on top anyway. So you can kind of see how your colors and see how that will flow. All right, so now that I have all these pieces in, I can go ahead and start to cut them. So I can click over here on Make It. Okay, so now I can see my 3 different mats, the white faux leather, the silver faux leather, which kind of looks like a light purple, and the purple faux leather. Now, one of the things you need to think about while you're on this screen is how will your leather go onto your mats. So if it's going to go on face up, so I'm just going to hold up some different kinds of leather. So this isn't even the colors I'm working with, but here's like a yellow. If I'm going to go face up, there's no need to push the mirror button. But if you look on the bottom of a lot of the faux leather, it's got this felt and it gets really fuzzy on your mat. It really just, after one run through, sorry, your mat is so fuzzy it's hard to use and the leather won't stick to it. So a lot of times I actually put my leather down to cut it, almost always actually. You can also put like a piece of contact paper on this, or even your Cricut transfer paper, and then you could go face up, and then it doesn't mess up your mat at all. That's another great way to do it. And so if you are going to go face up and you have a fabric on the bottom, that's fine. But if you're going to go face down, which we are in this case because all of our faux leathers have kind of this fuzziness to them, we need to put the mirror on. So see when I tap that mirror button how it turns green. I might even just do it right here because I cannot tell you as much as I know I need to mirror, as I do forget sometimes as I'm doing all the other steps. So I've turned the mirror on all three. Now I'm back on the white version and my mirroring is on. So now I can go ahead and click on the continue button. And my next step is going to be to pick the material. Now your Cricut does need to be set on custom. The custom dial, which I've got right here, and you can see the knob is focused on the is pointed towards the custom. And when that happens and when it's set on custom, then your computer will give you this option to set your material. Now you'll see right here the option that I'm using is this leather, this particular leather setting, and I'm going to show you where I got it just so you'll know. You go to browse all materials and go to the leather section. It's kind of that dark, that light brown color section. You see the Cricut icon next to the top four. That's because these are very specific settings set just for Cricut materials. But this bottom one is called Shimmered Leather -1mm. And that's the one that I use. And just so you know that by clicking on the star, that's how you make it appear on that home page like that. It just makes it a lot easier. All right, then I click done. Now you'll notice the blade here, it's saying with that setting, the fine point blade goes in clamp B. That's your normal blade, which is great. If you were cutting real leather and you had selected real leather, it would tell you you need the deep cut blade, which you can use a deep cut blade in a Cricut Explorer. You don't have to have the new Cricut to be able to cut leather. You do just need to be able to change the blade out. But for today, we're doing faux leather, and this fine point normal blade just works just fine. So by the time we're at this point, my Cricut machine is blinking, and that means that we can go ahead and put our faux leather through. Now, one thing I want to note as you're watching the video today, you are going to see as I'm pulling my leather out, it's all the same colors, but I also created these earrings, and I did a lot of them at one time, because when you do them at one time, you're getting the most out of your material, and it really just makes it an efficient process. I do them for gifts, so I'll just make a bunch at once. So you'll notice on my screen I'm only printing one, but when I'm sitting through the cutter, it's actually multiples. And so I just wanted to explain that before you start seeing so many come off. Oops. Just need to line up the leather on your mat. And then now we just need to put it into our machine. Now it does take a while to cut. It cuts each earring more than once. So you'll see it go through the entire cut, then it comes back and it does that cut again. I do try to monitor with leather only because if it's not really sticky, which you do need a really sticky mat, but if it's not, that leather will start to lift as the cut comes through. And I like to be there with my hand just to keep, if I kind of see anything bubbling up as the blade passes past that part, I'll kind of press it back down into the adhesive again. So I do like to monitor it, because I will say I have had plenty of situations where I've been trying to get a feel for the type of leather that I'm using and the setting that I have it on, and non-sticky enough mats, like I've tried to run them through too many times with the faux leather, that my leather comes up, and it just creates kind of a jumbled mess because that leather starts pulling up and it's getting clogged in the machine. And so that's why, like, I'll walk away from my paper cutting all the time. But when I'm cutting my faux leather, unless I really do have a brand new mat and it's a material that I'm really familiar with, or Cricut material on a Cricut setting, I like to just stay there and watch it come through, just so I can make sure that it doesn't either need to be paused or that I don't need to be pressing down on the material. While this cut is wrapping up, I just want to say thanks for stopping by my channel today. If it's your first time, please consider subscribing if you like to do a lot of DIY projects or Cricut projects. We do a lot of decorating for the holiday seasons as well here. So take a second to subscribe. Tap the bell button to make sure you get notifications anytime I do a new posting. And if you find anything at all helpful today, I'd really appreciate it if you would give the video a like. Thanks. Okay, so we've got our cut. Let's pull the leather up from the mat and see what we've got. Looks like the cut went pretty well with our leather. All right, and there we've got our 8 pieces for this earring. And of course we can only see the felt, but once we pull that off the mat, we'll actually see the leather side of that, the great texture of that. Okay, so I'll pull these earrings off and switch over to the next color. Okay, now we're gonna put the purple leather onto our Cricut mat here, and I'm going to again take the color side and put it down onto my mat. Oh shoot, make sure you get all the wrinkles out. I'm not doing a very good job. There we go. Oh, not a good job. You can see, but I do keep pressing the leather back down onto the mat as it starts to poke up while it cuts. Again, these cut very nicely, and now you've got the white. So here's what you can see now. Oh, I don't know if I have the same, these may not be the right ones stacked up together. You can get a sense of how they'll be hanging. Okay, so I'll pull these off the mat and move on to our next color. If I know that my leather is going to come into about 1.5 inches, I can just take my plastic cover and I can put it from about 2 inches down. That means when I put my leather down on this mat, I don't have to cut it, and I'll just have this kind of leaning over the half. So for example, here's my next cut is this kind of silver. Make sure I'm looking at that right. I think that's silver. That's silver. Oh, that's not silver. All of a sudden I thought that was a little brown. Here's my silver. So we're going to use this one, this silver. And I'm going to turn it down onto my mat. But see how this now is not actually stuck to the mat because that paper's down there, but it's stuck really nicely where it needs to be, up at the top here. So that's just a little trick I do so that I don't have to cut my leather. Anytime you cut it, you're just not going to get the most out of your material. So if you're trying to make the most out of it. These small silver pieces cut so quickly just because they're so small. All right, so we can take our leather off here. And now we've got that final piece that when we take it off the mat, it's kind of this pretty silvery leather color. All right, so here you can see our pieces. I've sorted them out so the same shapes are together. All right, let's take a look at all of the supplies we need to actually put the jewelry, the earring here together. So first we need this punch. This is a leather punch. It will go through multiple layers of leather, faux leather at once. The dial shows the different sizes of holes that it will make. Next we have our jump ring. Jump rings come in all different sizes, and if you look closely you'll see that a jump ring is not closed. That's what this line that I'm pointing to at the top is. We'll use tools today that will open that. We'll put our faux leather pieces inside and then we will close it up. To work with the jump ring, we have a couple tools. You either need 2 pair of pliers or a pair of pliers, and this to my left is a jump ring tool, and you just find the opening that actually fits the jump ring and use it in the tool. And then last here you see we've got the earring hook. There's lots of different colors available. This is just a little kit I have. In fact, I'll link below. This kit came with some leather that I had bought. I have a lot of bags that I get at Hobby Lobby. They're always 50% off, like every couple of weeks they're on sale, so that's a great place to get it too. All right, so this is our jump ring, and to work with that, you have to clamp it on one side with your pliers and then use the tool on the other, and see how I'm pushing that back. When you're opening it up, it goes from the front to the back to open. You never open like left to right, like side open. That will actually make your jump ring less strong. It'll be hard to get it to come back to the right shape when you're finished, and it could also damage the jump ring. So we put the once we get that jump ring open, you can see here I'm actually putting my earring pieces on. I didn't show you, I did punch through all 3 of those layers all together with my hole punch. So I put all the layers on, and then I put my hook. You do need to make sure when you're putting this hook on that you're doing it the right way so that it's pointing the right way. I know if you wear earrings, you know what I mean. Then grab your jump ring again with your pliers, and then use that jump ring tool again, and you are just going to turn that jump ring again, and so that you can close it and get a nice tight close to hold that piece of jewelry together. And that's how simple it is. As long as you have the right tools, you can easily get that jump ring opened and closed in the right way without making any kind of bends that don't look good on the jewelry. I think these just turned out really cute. I love this style and the stacked, really any kind of stacked earring, because they're so great to use to show school spirit, whether it's your high school, college colors, whether it's your favorite sports team, football team, soccer team, baseball team. You can really just pick the colors of that team and have this really fun pair of earrings that shows all kinds of spirit. Thanks for watching the video today, and good luck if you try this project.